like, all right, so where am I going tonight? All right, Tuesday, where am I going tonight? Wednesday.
I told the girls, like, what do we have tonight? And I was like, you guys actually don't have anything.
Okay.
I'm going to
Well,
town.
we went and saw a USM last night.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
But it was, we got back at like at 10 o'clock. I was like, by the time I get home, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna.
Oh, shoot. Did you guys get park?
Was it?
Did you take care of parking when you got there?
No, we took a bus, and the bus had free parking.
Okay.
No, it wasn't an issue. Oh, no, we were in
No, because
Gorham.
we just switched,
No.
no, but we just switched over to like a pay to park thing.
Maybe we were illegal.
Automated.
We could have been illegal.
You'll
It was a
find out.
good game,
They
they
come,
won.
the tickets come in the mail
Okay.
via those beautiful cameras.
Hopefully it comes to the RSU 57 that was on the side of the bus.
All by plate number, so it'll go there.
Do we have like
No,
a?
it's not coming.
I'll check this in.
You can start.
It's dark chocolate, straight up.
Okay, so, all right, well, this is, welcome.
Jump right in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bugging up.
This is a classic Jessica requested a workshop because there's a lot of stuff to look at.
There's
So
so
what I-
much to, yeah, and I
Yeah.
think the workshop's
And what
great.
I printed out for you guys is the current contract we have with them. I think it expires, October of next year? And then the park management rules we had come up with from the last workshops we did. And then I have some spreadsheets on like all the daily data that they've been collecting for us. So the only thing they haven't turned in so far is August 28th to Labor Day. So when I get that, I'll send it out to you guys, but I have all the data up until then. And I can help answer questions on it. I don't know what you want to start with. I guess we just have to, I mean, budgetary wise, figure out what you want to do with the contract. So that as we get into budgets, we know where we're headed.
So when does this expire again? I'm sorry.
I think you said
October, yeah,
I wanna
October of
say, yeah,
next year.
October.
Okay, never mind. I just-
Yeah.
October 30th of 24.
I think the,
So if we were to renew it, it would get renewed in the fiscal year 2025, which is the next budget. That's the budget we're gonna be working on.
Correct.
So-
Okay. Okay.
I like that you're here because, and I guess as I'm here also part of the bumming up. Because I think we have to keep that into, what our thoughts are and how the YMCA fits into that.
Mhm.
And so I like that's just a good place to start, but. So if I'm reading this right, we took in $25,030 in
Yeah,
cash.
I mean, it was a very rainy season.
And I want to throw that out first, yeah, holy
Yeah.
cow.
I think
And we still haven't got the last,
we haven't got the
Into this
last
number.
couple, like, week or so.
yep,
We only took in, 23 last year?
I thought it was more than that.
Oh, was
I pulled that budget, but
Yeah, I thought it was.
I thought it was somewhere around like 32.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that'd be
Which
nice.
would
I
be
would love to be wrong.
Surprisingly about the same
yeah,
this
even
year,
with the,
given all the rain
right,
and
yeah.
everything.
right, exactly. I was just thinking the same thing.
One of the things, like I noticed, and, when we first had workshops with YMCA, we talked about a fee schedule. And so in the park management rules, we have a fee schedule, what we determined. I didn't realize things like, as they were giving me numbers in the first month, they didn't add up. So I went back to them and I met with them and said, why don't these add up? And they did explain to me, well, sometimes we get people who come in on a motorcycle, we charge them $10. Sometimes people come in after 4 p.m., we charge them $10, and they had this whole list of what they charge people, which was, and I explained to them, that's not part of our fee schedule that we talked about. You guys didn't, really let us know about that. But for now, that's why there's so many columns over here, and that's why there's, when they were tracking it at the booth, that's why it was just so widespread. Because we didn't know that they were taking in and like charging people for so many different things. And the other thing I didn't know, which I learned towards the end of the season, was like other parks and recs from other towns are busing in people, 80, 100, whatever people on a bus And so the YMCA was just charging like $250. Which again, you know, at the time when they told me this, I said, well, I guess keep doing what you're doing because we didn't talk about that as a fee schedule. I didn't even know that was something that was happening at the park, but
So-
now we do know.
Where is that happening on this sheet?
It's under O, but then I don't see any tracking for it. So they've told me that it happens, but I haven't seen.
So I know
any numbers.
Waterboro goes there weekly. They have a lake day, Waterboro Parks and Rec does.
Okay. Well, this is what I'm told over the phone, you know, when they get.
Yeah, I'm
large
certainly not
groups, yeah.
challenging.
Sure, I know.
I
get
just
it.
wanna, yeah, okay.
But yeah, I don't, you know, what I get from them, I think they have somebody, you know, a finance person or something in their group that does all these calculations and stuff.
Right. Well, I thought it was weird that they would go there every week if they had, like, because in my brain, if you're a large group, you would be renting the Pines, right, for $250.
Well, and I don't even think they're necessarily renting the Pines. I think from what I'm told, like it'll be like a busload of people from like Kennybunk that go to use the whole park. And so because it's like, you know, maybe 60 people on that bus, instead of counting all the heads and doing the math, they're just like, $250. So, you know, that's how they've been doing it for a while. I don't know what you guys think of it, or if you want to look
I
at
wonder
that
if we should charge by
differently.
the head
Is there an individual fee? Yeah, that's what we're.
for the,
Yeah,
for
when we
that.
were doing it, it was like $20, and then I think it was like 8 or 9 if you were like a car passenger, 9 people and over or something like that. Then it would be, was it $2 per head or something? But I mean, when you have like 80
I think
people
we
there-
talked about that. I don't think we actually did that, right? So in the rules, we just said 20 per car.
That's right. Yeah.
Because we took the data that we had and we kind of came to that middle ground.
Yeah.
Right,
Like,
I think
Yeah.
how many
you're
people we're
Right.
bringing, and if you bring, like, if you have like a Suburban, it's because you have probably like 4 or 5 kids. It's not, we're not like looking to penalize people for too many kids to bring to the beach or anything like that. Yeah. Ugh.
So do we need to come up with an individual per bus?
Yeah, I mean, maybe we come
Yeah.
up with a different fee schedule or something because,
And maybe, I think it needs to be
There's,
a discount, maybe, because we're doing 200 at once, or maybe we don't care. We just
No.
like, hey.
I mean, if
we're
you,
offsetting the cost to the taxpayers.
And I guess
And
that's the
so,
bottom, that's the bottom line.
What are we, I don't know about deals, but I do know there's different sized buses.
Mhm.
And maybe we go by the size of the bus, how many people up to this many is this much.
Mhm.
I don't want to make it too confusing for the poor, like I'm reading this contract, that the gatekeeper will be there for 10 hours a day.
yeah.
So, I mean, that's one person.
They
So
share-
we
they-
want to make it easy, but yet I don't want to
No,
leave
too good, though.
money on the table either.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact of the matter is that we haven't formed the committee. We're gonna be doing more seasonal things over there. It will be open more, it will be used more. So as a result of that, the budget will probably rise significantly for it. So we should be thinking about turning some of that around,
I also,
like this.
I also think too, like, so if some of these are other parks and recs doing it, you know, maybe we try to figure out what are they charging per head? Because if we charge so much money that they're not gonna make anything off of it, they just won't come to the park,
Right,
right?
right.
So maybe we kind of get some reconnaissance of like what these other parks and recs are doing and we can sort of balance that and say, well, you know, we'll charge, it's gonna
Well,
be
so I
more
don't
than
think,
250.
so it's
like,
not like, just to be clear, it's not like, oh, hey, it's a Parks and Rec trip to the beach and it costs $20. It's more like, hey, you're at Parks and Rec all week and we're just trying to keep everybody busy doing different things. So like Thursday is Lake Day. So they charge the weekly like tuition, if you will,
Oh, they do.
for like a summer camp kind of thing.
Yeah,
So,
just say it's $100 a week, $20 a day, just for math.
right.
Yeah, yeah. I see where you're going.
So it's all kind of wrapped in, so.
Another piece of this that I thought about is that we, just formed the committee. It's just starting to meet. There's a site walk, Saturday, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know what direction their recommendations are gonna take us.
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And the year-round stuff, so I'm wondering how the Y will end up fitting into that. So if we do extend this contract, maybe we just do it, figure out the timeline, and don't tie our hands too hard. Maybe we
Mhm.
renew it for 2 years or 3 years, because I don't know the timeline yet. Nobody does.
No.
Yes.
Maybe we'll get the 10-year plan out.
Another thing to think about, and I don't know if the Y would be really excited about this, probably not, but, you know, they are an organization, they're making a lot of money. They use our Buckingham Park for their camps during that whole season. At the same time, they're also offering us that staffing, and so maybe we look into some sort of like a net zero contract where you're using our park, you know, you're making money, but you're staffing us, we're making money, so we're both winning here.
I had FOIA'd this before and they were not comfortable giving it out. They said that they would give it to the select board if they asked, and I don't think it ever got asked, but I would like to know overall how many kids they have at camp each week. I would like to know what they charge each kid that goes to camp.
I can tell you that.
And,
My home budget can tell you
and,
that.
and I would like to know what they're making for those 3 months. You know, somebody that used to live on Brock Road said that they would see 2 full buses go down every day and leave at the end of the day.
Every day.
And, you know, so I'm like trying to think, I'm like, okay, what do they fit? 75, 80 kids on a bus? So 160 kids a week? And if
It'd be
you're at
interesting to see the
125,
Hard to say if the bus is
190.
completely full.
Sure, but it'd be
190.
interesting to see the math.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think your requests are valid. It's good information, not that we wanna
Yeah.
take every penny that they have, or, you know, things like that,
Right.
but
We have
Is it-
responsibilities.
I do know that, yeah, and responsibilities to the taxpayers. I mean, that's a beautiful place, but
When we
I do appreciate that they are there
Mm.
and that they're doing this. I'm not,
This-
when I
this-
talk about, I'm not dissing or of the why whatsoever. There was problems there. If you all lived in this town for a long time, right? You remember the stuff that used to go on there before we came into partnership with the Y in this? It
Yeah, I
was
don't
bad.
yeah.
There was a lot of drunkenness and lewd behavior, and I won't even describe some of the other stuff, but there was an incident that was not good. Many,
Mm,
and people didn't even want to go there, and it had a bad rap. It had a bad reputation.
Mhm.
People were scared to go there.
It's a-
Used to go there and get all wasted with no supervision. So that has it has been very beneficial to have them here
mhm.
in this. And I would like to continue to partner with them in some,
Mhm.
some fashion into the future.
Yeah. I mean, I think that we, as a town, though, it needs to come to the point where it's not the taxpayers of Lyman that are funding Bunganut, and everybody else is just like, oh, hey, we've got this great place to go. We only have to pay $2.50 for our kid to go, for a Thursday. And,
I completely agree.
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
I would like also, I don't know, maybe I should write all this down. I didn't, but to know, do they offer scholarships for people
Yes.
who can't afford camp?
Yes.
They do offer scholarships.
Yeah.
Do they make
See, that's.
towards Lyman residents? Do they get preferential treatment or
No.
so?
Other than that, I bring my kids to Lyman and not Sanford.
Hmm.
It's good. It's been great for my family, honestly. I wasn't ever in the beginning, obviously, like bringing my kids. I wasn't on all this side of it, and I'm going, oh, what's going on here? I will say, and I think it's in the contract somewhere about the increase because staffing and the volatility in the staffing market, because I will say that just like everyone else, they struggle to find staffing.
Yep.
And when we talk about, 2 busloads full of kids, there's certain state regulated ratios that have to be maintained, so they have to have enough people physically on site that they have to pay, so.
Yeah.
Obviously they have their costs to do what they do for us as well, so I don't want to discount that. But it's definitely worth looking into.
Yeah, I think, just,
I think they made valid points too at like the last workshop we did where like, I don't see where we can really increase the revenue too much, like as far as charging passes and stuff, because then people do start just going elsewhere. So I think we're kind of hitting a cap right there as well.
but I think the committee being on it, improving it will allow that cap to be a little higher future down the road.
Yeah, I think if the committee comes up with these ideas that are
And we can-
that are implemented and they're available there during the summer when the Y is using, I think that warrants if there's,
And the Y is a Monday to Friday too, so it's not on the weekends. So
Mhm.
there's opportunity there, I think, for us to, I don't know. I just feel like the Pines is such an untapped
Look at that.
resource.
well, yeah, that was one of the things in
I
like
think it needs a little bit of
the, so they only have to start according to the contract, starting May 1st of each year, the YMCA will begin promoting and securing reservations for Bunganut Park.
But I think the promotion is like, it's on their website, essentially.
So that's it, just the website.
I don't know
and
what they do to promote.
Okay.
I don't know the like
I have seen
specifics of what they do or
I
don't.
have seen it on their sign.
Another question
Yeah.
for Amber.
Yeah.
So when you said $250 that they're charging the buses, do you mean like the $250 or do you mean like $2.50?
I'm sorry, $250
Okay,
for a whole busload,
okay.
regardless of what, they get, okay, it's a busload, it's $250.
And could it be 2 buses from one place, 250?
I don't know, I don't really know.
Yeah, I don't,
Right,
yeah, I mean,
exactly.
and that,
It could be. Oh, your group, oh, yeah, you're the 2 bus, I don't get 250.
And I think, like,
Yeah.
I think Amber made the point, or somebody made the point, like, it isn't on the sheet, so they did tell me they run into that, but I haven't seen it.
Well, and that's where I was
tracked
struggling
here.
because like I know Waterboro Rec
This
goes
should-
there like
Unless
every
they put it
Thursday.
Just
under
be a per head.
Pines.
yeah, I mean, are they putting it under the Pines so that the 8, what were there, 8?
A bus should be.
Because my
so much
understanding
per
is,
And-
person. The counselor says, this is how many we have on the bus, this is what we're charged. Per
So
seat
there's
in.
14 rentals for the Pines throughout, from May 27th that they've put.
Yep,
Are they considering those
I don't
14
know.
buses?
I don't know, the way the Pines is on here is like per day. So the Pines is supposed to be $250 per day, and, so I just assumed that was people renting the Pines for
something
that
in
day.
addition to a bus. So, I think we're narrowing it down that they need to be here to ask a few questions.
Well, yeah, but this is just an
Yes,
initial
and-
conversation for you
I
guys,
think this is
and
perfect.
write down some
Yeah.
questions you have for them or things that you need more information on.
Mhm.
I mean, one thing I do have too, if you want to look at it, is like their actual daily tracking. It's a lot to go
Was
through.
that the
Yeah, this is the every day.
60-something? Scrolling through that, I'm like, how far does this go?
Well, and it's whoever is working there, right?
Yep.
That maybe like their group is lighter. So it's sometimes it's literally like the teenager that
Yeah.
they're making it all work for us. So it's
So according to their contract, the YMCA is responsible for scheduling and making financial arrangements for private functions in the park and for providing any such reservations to the select board.
Which will be in here. They do have, for the Pines, they have like a reservation form. And so I'd have to sift through all this and I can pull those for you.
Yeah,
It's just, it gives you the information of like the group who's doing
Mhm.
it. Sometimes it's a person, they have a family event.
Yep.
Sometimes it's a company or something that's doing a picnic. And then, yeah, it's just the details of that group and when, you know, they wanna rent it from this day to that day, or if it's just for that one day. They do submit that in this thing. I don't know if you guys saw it.
I did see it in that big email. though.
Yeah. The Bunganut Park Committee, I did send them all the daily stuff. And I can probably forward it to you guys if you want to.
I'm just wondering, like, can we add, is there 14 reservation sheets in there for the Pines or would that, you know? And then again,
Still
like,
wonder if they-
do we have a number for the Pines? Like if somebody called up and said, hey, I'm having a company picnic and I have 500 people coming. Do we have a limit? Like we have the Pines for 80
See,
to
these are notes for
150 people for $250. And then if you're over 150 people, is it
Right.
a different
I
price,
believe
you know?
they call YMCA. Is how that
And
works.
that's the contact.
Or they show up at the booth sometimes.
She means though, like, is there a maximum capacity?
But
Yeah, so is there-
that's- Yeah, we got like 3 questions, yeah, 3.
Yeah, is there a capacity for the Pines? Like, do we have a number
It might be.
that,
And should we write, you can't write. This is a good question.
You
This is
say
a
you
good question
can't
for the
write.
committee.
Well, why
Oh, well,
can't
she's got an account.
she? Oh, I didn't see her. I'm so
Man, look,
sorry.
she still is giving.
I'm like, you're being so mean.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't see it. I didn't
Right?
see it.
Yes.
No, I didn't see it. I thought you were just, you're not able to.
You're only
Right,
flying
right,
circles
right.
now.
Holy cow. Everybody loves when Jessica's at a meeting.
Okay,
So and my thing is with them promoting the Pines, starting May 1st, that,
I think we should promote the funds on our website.
well, I think we should, you know,
Okay.
but if you start at May 1st, like, I mean, people aren't planning a function for June that is like a big function. If they're planning June, July, or August, they've already started planning that way before. So if they didn't know about the Pines until May 1st,
Well, I
That-
don't know what they use for promotions. It would be
Right.
good to ask
And
them,
that's a
like,
good question.
because they probably, I would imagine, have a network that they can work within. And you know, maybe, you know, the idea I thought for promoting was that they're kind of promoting within their network and, you know, they have probably a little bit more reach than we do. Even though I put it on the website, I don't know how much it really reaches. You know, we don't ever receive phone calls for the Pines.
I'm guessing their
Yeah.
reach is a different clientele.
Well,
That's
that's maybe how
maybe.
the other parks and rec groups are getting there. That might be how they.
But like-
Right, but we're missing out on the outside functions out of recreation.
that a company, you know, that like they might say,
How do
oh,
we
you
hit
know
a
what?
company?
Instead of going to Funtown this year, let's go up to the Pines. We can cook out, we can swim, make it a family day.
How do we
But-
hit them?
They're,
If it's- But this
Yeah.
is something that we should, as the Bunganut committee.
oh, I think,
also
yeah.
Work on.
The Bunganut could have its own website.
Sure,
Well,
yeah.
And for the Bunganut committee too, like if we develop a trail system there, I'd love to see it on apps like All Trails,
Mm-hmm.
because that'll attract a lot of attention. People use those apps.
This is just a random thing, but I've always thought about this because when my kids were running cross country, we always had to go up to Alfred at the apple orchard. Like, there's enough there, like acreage, that you could
Mhm.
cut in a 5K course for like Massabesic to have that as their home course. Or, I mean, if it's nice enough, you then have the potential to hold, you know, states, championships, you know, like Southwesterns. I can't even remember what they're called now. I totally blocked all that out. But that's another, you know, like they hold them all the time in Cumberland, like for cross country. They're
Do they get to charge for it?
Cumberland charges an insane amount, I think, to use that park.
If not, we're
And-
kind of in the same field, as the same situation as the ball field right now.
Yeah.
And you
I-
can do concessions at the same time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's Cumberland, it's a facility that, it's a park, I can't remember what the name of the park is either. But it's open all year, so you can go in, but for the states, I think the York County race was there, and then the states. But yeah, they have to pay to Cumberland to use that. And I just think that that's another way that we could generate
Well, some groups
some,
pay USM to do that at our facilities too. We just have to remember that you still have to maintain those facilities and have staff on site
Right.
to manage, emergency management, trash, waste, parking, like facilitating people actually like knowing where the heck to go.
Mhm.
It's not impossible. It's just things that you have to think of as we think of things like
Yeah.
that. 'cause
Yeah.
Large scale groups generate large scale potential,
Yeah.
large scale problems.
Right, and that's not something that's gonna be handled for us
No.
by the Y,
Yeah.
so.
no.
But it also might be a couple years too in the future before we kind of get those things ironed out.
Yes.
So I think like in the meantime too, we're sort of back to what we're working with until,
I think,
Yeah.
that was my point about not
yeah,
how to not extend this for like 10 years or
Yeah.
something that we tie our hands up to, but as we get this timeline,
Yeah, I think last time we signed a 2-year.
I think there's
I
three.
think this is
Oh,
three,
That's three.
yeah.
Right, it was in a year before I was, okay.
Yep. Yep.
When I was there visiting, it was pointed out to me, there's 2 attendants in the booth that get paid minimum wage for however many hours that they're there. And they clearly were not bringing in the revenue to cover what they were being paid per day. Do we pay for both of those attendants, or do we split that with the Y?
The Y pays for them.
Yep,
So they
right.
are employed
We
with the
don't get
ones.
charged.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
okay.
just pay the Y, what's outlined in
lump
the
sum.
contract and
Yep.
it's, I don't know.
just
41,000
41,000 this year.
And then they have the option to raise that if there is, for,
Well, at a mutual agreement, like they can raise it at a.
yes,
mutual-
yeah, we have to approve. Yeah, the board has to approve it.
So we're still missing numbers, and we're at 28,290 total, 41 totals.
Oh, yeah, it's trying to,
We have brought that margin closer. It seems like it was really wide apart on what it was costing us. So that's promising because the rate changes have made a difference. I'm trying to find a positive.
I
Yeah,
know.
no, it's good.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's, poo-pooing anyone, but
Yeah.
just trying to look at the logistics and,
The Y contract has always been from the board's point, it's always been a thing, that it's always been controversial, no one's ever.
It was in the beginning when we first
Yeah,
entered into it.
every year it was like, a battle, it's like, and it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and so now it's gotta really, pull it back in and figure it out.
But I think to
They
Karen's
do a
point,
good value.
right, exactly, and to Karen's point, having minimum wage staff people, the town isn't prepared to manage that and be able to,
Right?
manage that intricate of like scheduling and if
It's
somebody
a lot of
calls out
work.
sick and,
Yeah,
all the HR issues that come along
It's
with
a
that.
lot.
We would end up with a staff and a management system similar to the transfer station, I would imagine.
yep,
Not that it's,
and what do you get for
It's like on
help?
the brink of like a Parks and Rec, like staff
Mhm.
function.
You get what you pay for too, when you're paying minimum wage, you get minimum wage.
I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole.
Okay. All right, so, yes, any other thought concerns?
So are we thinking we'll chat with them again then, we'll invite them,
Well, do you wanna,
or
are
we'll try to
there
get some more
questions
data
you wanna
first.
look into first? Do you wanna look into any more data? Just spitballing.
I'd like to know what their version of advertising is for the Pines,
Mhm.
because I really feel like they're only hitting their clientele and not the possibilities
Yeah.
out there. And oh man, Pines.
That, I'd like to know
Who's that?
more specific details about how they charge other, like Parks and Rec groups that show up.
Yeah, are those full buses part of the Pines? I doubt it, but who knows?
But I just in general terms want to know, like, how do you handle that? Like, how is that charged? How is that tracked? So that we
How
have
is
an
that
idea?
organized? Like, how does, does Waterboro call the Y and say, hey, we want to come every Thursday for the whole entire summer? And is it $250 that they pay each week?
No,
Or-
I was told it was $250 for the day. And then they used examples like County Bank was one of them, maybe Arundel was another one.
So
The
they
more kids
come-
you had, the lower the rate. 200 kids, you're only charging.
Yeah, you're like,
kid.
just need a quarter from you.
You charge
Not that
250.
we are by any means like ready to take on like Parks and Recs and stuff
Hmm.
like that, but just in learning that stuff too and like what these other towns do, like that's kind of how they also monetize their Parks and Recs is they hold these like camp programs and like you said, you can be charged weekly and it's Thursday's Lake Day and stuff like that, but
And they
Yeah.
go
We're not there
downtown
yet.
and they go to, yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
So yeah, I guess I would like to know that. How does that work? Like, do the other Parks and Recs reach out to the Y and they organize it, before the beginning of the year? Or is it just like they can just randomly show up without having to notify anybody at Bunganut that they're coming?
I bet it's more organized, just because they've got to be organized.
I-
If
Well,
I had to
yeah.
guess, it would be, but I just want to know
Right,
from
yeah.
them, what do you do? How much do you charge? How is it orchestrated?
Yeah.
Like,
We're coming, it's gonna cost you $250. Well, how many kids you bringing? I don't know yet.
Yeah.
Whatever, it's just
We got
$250.
100, so it's, yeah. So the end of the season closings, does somebody from the town meet somebody there
So
to
we-
walk through and have a
Yeah, that was
closing?
gonna be one of my
so
questions.
we
Checklist?
talked about that last year when we walked around in the middle of the winter,
Yep.
and discovered that maybe some of the things that we would have thought would be included in that were not done. But in the Y's defense, I don't know if there's ever been like a specific
I don't-
checklist of like,
Exactly.
this is how you close it up. Everything's, the picnic tables are here, all the things, right? And so I think we were gonna develop that.
I think that checklist needs to be.
Yeah, I think we need to have a checklist, and I think that somebody from the town needs to go there with the Y and be like, okay, this is
Or-
done.
Or
There's-
after,
That's,
they have till the end of October.
Yeah,
so
till the
some
end of-
one us, some of us or one of us was to go there, the 2nd or 3rd of November or whatever, or
Mhm.
right
Yeah.
in that time frame, and things weren't satisfactory, then
but
they
I've,
could be notified.
my fear with that is because I have heard, and the rumor mill is that like, things have been left, it's been brought to their attention, but nobody's come back to take care of the problem. So that, like, okay, if you have to be done by October 30th of each year, depending what day November 1st is, if somebody says, okay, it's time to go to the Bunganut, we're going to meet the Y there, here's the checklist. And so we know November 1st, okay, this is all taken care of.
I
Checks
almost
and
wonder
balances.
too, if like this year is almost I'm just lacking on the word, but like a
Like
trial run where we
Yeah,
walk through it
exactly.
together with them, so that
Mhm.
that helps develop the
Yes.
I
checklist, just
think
Yeah.
because
we're
some,
gonna learn from them too.
right.
Yeah, I mean,
I
we can
agree.
just think about what we're gonna do, but.
So maybe
unless
that's
you're
what we
really
do is
there.
reach out to schedule that.
yeah. Well, they did call to check in early September when they were starting the process of it. I know because
Yeah.
Parks and Recs had mentioned maybe wanting to use the mansion during the winter, so they had asked like, where do you want us to put this stuff, so, and then I've heard from Holly, they're kind of like, they don't really want to use it because it's not insulated.
I was just gonna say, did they know there's no
It's not
heat,
seasonal.
like there's no,
Yeah, so they did check in on that, but it probably would be a good idea, like, to walk through it with them and then develop a checklist after doing that walkthrough.
Right.
Mhm.
I almost wanna do it a week before their time's up. So
right,
you
that
can
gives
be
them
like-
time to
That
go back.
gives them-
here's the
yeah.
punch
And,
list.
and the lake's closed by that point, I mean, let's be realistic.
Yeah.
And we can be like, all right, so what's gonna happen in here?
Here's the
Oh,
punch
we're gonna do
list.
this, we're gonna do, okay.
Yeah, because are kids still there in October?
No,
So
kids
yeah,
are
so
done
it's just
there.
them there
Okay.
finishing up what they would be
Before the end of
finishing up.
August, they've been done. They finish up the week
Oh, okay.
before.
So
Labor
maybe
Day
like
is-
what we can do, is like the Lakeside liaison. Maybe,
Oh,
right,
I'll-
no, Tom, your fault. Well, maybe the two of you or Tom or someone and myself or something can go meet up with them and I know Tom had talked about a checklist. He brought
Yeah,
that up.
we
I think, at
talked
the
about
last
that a few
workshop,
times,
so
I just
he
didn't-
might be a good one to
Make one.
make a checklist
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, I think that's an important step for getting it
Well, and
closed
then
up.
it's, as
Because
we
you can't
close,
hold
we
them
can,
accountable until you have one.
well, and as we close, and then everybody signs the checklist at the end, right? And as we close, we have the list for reopening theoretically, right?
Mhm.
All the things you close, you gotta open.
Yeah.
So,
I like that. I'll be involved in that lakeside checklist. Just,
we think too, if we're there, or at least someone on the board is there to sign off and say, yep, we're all in agreement, and the Y signs it off. Or at least they're doing the visual inspection too, so we don't get in a position like last year where we found some stuff that we're like, oh my
Sure.
God, this is terrifying. And now we need to figure this out. Like, we would know in the fall that, hey, we need to add some budget for next year before we open so that we can be ready.
Mhm.
And Tom had talked about too, like United Way, Dave Karen,
yeah,
that sort of thing. And I think YMCA might have in the past promoted that before, I don't know for sure. So maybe it's something we collaborate with them on, or we try to do. Tom had talked about his connections with it, trying to get something like that. That would be great. I know I went out there in the spring and we had that big storm, so there's just sticks and
chaos.
twigs everywhere. It
It was
just like
chaos.
looked messy, but you know, it did get cleaned up. I think the Y went in, I know they said they had a program. Part of the program is they kind of had the kids like help clean up the trails and stuff like that. So I'm sure they, when you guys do your walkabout, you might see it.
Yeah, I walked through already. Yeah, it was cleaned up.
It looked good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did notice that like the footpath from the parking lot to the road had been wood chipped,
Yeah,
so it wasn't that
cool.
treacherous terrain that it was before, but it'd be interesting because I saw it at the beginning of the season, now I'll get to see it at the end, so. Yeah. The field side was amazing. It's so, to not see a clover on the field, that's a little thing, and I just know how it's a pet peeve of mowers.
My clover lawn. I love my clover lawn.
Bees like it too. if you let
It looks good from
flower.
far away.
In the contract there, under operating expenses too, it says the YMCA is responsible for costs associated with signage. Is that just their own signage, or is that,
It's their own like little laminated sign.
Yeah, what they place,
okay,
children this way, no
So,
adults.
okay.
It's pretty, it's not
Yeah,
signage in the sense that you would think that's like
permanent metal.
fancy. It's literally like laminated.
Like
sheets of
laminated paper,
like,
okay.
Please
It's not trail
stay out
marks.
of here.
okay,
It's-
then, okay. It's for their own purposes, not for purposes of, like, they're not calling us and say, oh, we've had somebody in this area. Can you guys send us a sign? Can you get us a sign that
I
says
believe you're correct.
this? Okay, and then we are not
For their
paying,
own-
Correct.
okay.
And they
much
manage it, so they
separation.
might have like little signs that are like, no smoking, do not enter, private rentals only. But again, those are only little laminated.
Yeah,
paper
okay.
that are basically seasonal.
Low budget,
Hey, I don't mind low budget. I'm all for that.
it works.
Where it talks about payment, number 3, says that, they reserve the right to request additional costs in 23 and 24 due to labor expenses. This request will occur in writing and will occur in the early part of 23 and 24 respectively. Did we get a request like that in 23?
No, we never got any.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
They didn't increase anything last year?
No.
Okay. They just came back about the language for the insurance.
Yeah, that was the big thing, was the
That was the back,
insurance.
I remember, we did do it back and forth. I know we
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Okay.
Are you guys gonna be at the walkthrough on Saturday?
Yes. I'm giving up a,
Can you post that there might be a quorum there?
Well, it's already a properly noticed meeting.
Okay,
so
it's
yeah,
fine.
it's fine.
That's my
And it
concern.
was, not only to the committee, but it was announced out behind that. So we wanted to show up.
Well, I'm show up as a public. I want to see
yeah,
it. I mean, I feel like the more I can put my eyes on some of these things.
It makes sense.
I'm better that way. I process things better. I get ideas. I'll be doing a mundane chore like folding laundry or matching socks or something, and bing, that's.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I get with.
I'm
my-
giving up a
with my
book
work.
sale to
With
go
my
to the
landscape. That's why
walkthrough.
it's Mind's Eye Landscape. Never know when
What
you're gonna
time?
get that mental picture.
What time is that? I should know.
Think
10
it's
o'clock.
10 a.m.
Yeah, just 10 a.m. Usually 3:30 in the morning when I wake up, that's when the stuff works in my head.
Right? Yeah, I understand.
Yep. I got a game to ref at 11, so we gotta make this quick on Saturday.
Is it right across the street?
I think that's a perfect time. I'm telling you, it's perfect time. That place is chaos on Saturdays.
Mm.
It's total chaos over there on Saturdays. It's great to see it. To see how many kids are just enjoying the crap out
It'd
of
be great if
it.
we were making money on it.
Was that?
It'd be great if we were making money on it.
Yes, I like that.
That group does make a donation.
They do, but, we also have to keep in fact, I think that it's a town, a benefit to the town residents. Got some sort of bill we have to put for that. Throwing it out there.
Yeah, I'm not in that level yet.
Yeah, because really we came to talk about the water and the contract
That's right.
end of it anyway.
That's what we're here for.
Correct.
And I think we've got enough questions to ask them to
Yeah.
help us narrow down. And I guess let's see numbers from them. What is their
Oh, yeah.
next contract look like? I mean, what are they proposing, I guess, for it?
Hmm.
Because we have to budget for all that.
Yeah, we could ask them that. It's really gonna come down to
We
you
still got
guys.
a few months before we need that number.
Well, I guess I'll bring that up at the meeting on Monday, what I was gonna say, sorry.
I'd be interested just to hear, I mean, we've kind of heard their input on what we could do differently there to help maybe bring in more money, so.
I'm excited that there's a committee, we're gonna take some action, we're gonna make decisions
Yeah.
about it, and start bringing things forward, and so let's see where it
Just
goes.
Having a plan, a
Mhm.
future plan of what we want to do with it.
I gotta answer that,
That's great.
did you answer the survey?
Have I read them all? No, I haven't answered it.
No,
Should I-
I'm waiting to do the
I don't know if
walkthrough.
I
That's
should
why I
probably
wanted,
do
I,
something.
Yeah, me
I
too.
wanted to do
That's
the
what-
walkthrough
that's what
before I
was
do the
waiting for,
survey.
too, when I saw that survey.
because I'm like, 104 acres, there's a lot there that, that I'm like, So, but I gotta see it. I'm like Vicky, I didn't see it and
I
then.
have not walked that property in 10 years.
I think we should do apple
Easily.
picking on that back corner where that apple orchard comes into the town property. Let's just do town apple picking.
You need
right
to just
there.
sneak over.
No sneaky apples.
I think this is, the town residents is gonna be able to utilize it more the more we keep working with it.
I don't see why it couldn't become a four-season
Yeah, it just has to be on loan.
place.
Yeah.
But how do we get there? And we will. So that's what the committee's gonna help
Is
do.
the Y absolutely not interested in doing it year round, or
Well,
have they commented on that?
I don't know that we've ever
Yeah.
spoken to them about that.
Oh, okay.
I mean, and maybe that's the committee, what would be year round for them? What would be their function?
Or if we did cross-country or dog trails.
Sure.
Well, there's a lot of things on.
There's so many winter
There's a lot of
activities, oh, there's a ton,
suggestions.
but I just wondered how they would staff it, how you
Yeah.
would figure that out.
Mm.
Snowshoeing,
When to
Yeah.
be there,
bonfires.
I just wrote bonfire.
ice
Like a
fishing.
town
City.
bonfire.
I know, I
Maybe
was
this
wondering
is a-
about ice fishing on there but that's not stocked, so
Yes, they do fish there.
they do? Okay.
I mean, I think anybody can fish there, right? So
Yeah,
think,
I didn't
access
look
to
for,
it.
like-
It's just natural.
Yeah.
Well, it's also like, do we not, we have a whole town park, but I don't know, these, like if I row my kayak over there, I'm gonna do lug it downstairs. Like,
Right, you can
you know what I
do
mean?
it.
There's no.
And I know the committee.
I mean, I
talked
could
about
if I
that.
really wanted to.
I, listening to the feedback I've heard from the past, from the residents of the town, they don't really want that public boat, motorboat per se, but
Mhm.
It was actually,
tote down kayak, canoe.
yeah, there was a planning board review on that. It was a long time ago, but it got denied because the butters were opposed to a large boat ramp. But there was like plans and everything, just like the whole, what you see at Kennebunk Pond, like, an architect came in and designed all these plans. But there was a lot of opposition from the abutters because they didn't, you attract invasive plants, you attract a lot of other things that they didn't want.
Valid point.
Sure,
Yeah.
but I would think to be able to bring a kayak or a canoe or
Right.
something down.
Well, and the Y hasn't, I mean, not for just me to go use, it's for kids, like that's my kid canoes, I'm like, oh, you know what, do this, it's great.
When I was on the board before, there was a certain gentleman in town that used to get a hold of me constantly to come unlock a chain that's on a gate so he could lug his kayak down. There you go.
At least he was honest. I mean, he could have just slid it under and
Right?
crawled over the
And I get
gate
that,
and.
So that was cool, but those are the kinds of things, that,
Yeah.
that would be, if we were open
Like if we're all paying
the
for it.
way, yeah,
Yeah,
that there could be access for non-motorized.
Right.
But that has nothing to do with the Y at the moment, so
Correct.
Yep,
anyhow.
but we're taking good notes for the committee.
Yes, sorry.
What's this wee stuff?
it's like I'm using my own arm, my own broken arm.
Any more thoughts, concerns?
I can't think of anything. So I'll write down some more questions as they come.
So our next move is maybe have a meeting with the Y?
Yeah, I'll pose these questions to them, so they can, collect
Be
some
ready.
information in advance. Maybe do you want to do another workshop with them, or you want to invite them to your regular meeting? Like, how do you
I
go
think
about
a
that?
workshop.
I think a workshop is easier only because it's the sole topic.
Mhm.
And I think it's less stressful for
I agree.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
you
for
feel
them
comfortable.
too, like,
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's
Like,
less
Mhm.
stressful for everyone, so.
Do you want to look at potentially scheduling a workshop, or just wait?
No,
do that.
I didn't bring my
big
calendar
deal.
with the stickers. Come on.
God.
Dang, I brought me, that's it.
What fair. Oh, boy.
It's like they wouldn't piggyback a workshop, would they?
I mean, you don't have to, but I was just thinking if I could give them some dates.
It would start the process
Yeah.
and slow it, and speed it up a little bit, and
Like if
the whole
Thursdays
process
work,
could work.
Tuesdays are usually wide open.
My Tuesdays and Thursdays are wide open, except for third, we got a town meeting on the third.
Yeah, it could be like later in October. It doesn't have to be, maybe we put it like 4 weeks out or something. We have plenty of time to.
So I think the
adjust
19th would be ORC, right?
Yeah,
Maybe the 26th,
Yeah.
Thursday.
we'll shoot for that.
Okay.
And then that way, maybe at the next meeting, if you're all here, we can just like reconfirm if people can make it.
Workshop.
In the meantime, should we try to find a date with the Y to do the,
Yeah, so I'll reach out to them and maybe
Oh, yeah.
like with the liaisons, if you guys wanna do a checklist. I know Tom was very interested in a checklist, so.
And they have to be out on the, was it 31st of October?
They may already be out. I know
I
they're
don't know.
cleaning up.
The
I think,
contract.
I mean, they.
The contract says the 30th. Their last day is
I
the,
think for the majority of.
Second
to
intents
last
and
day,
purposes, They're not like operating their day
Right.
by any means.
So,
Yeah, that's
yeah, I
not
mean,
needed anymore.
We're pretty open. I'm running.
Yeah, that's the last day they staff it, and then they do like clean up after that.
They're supposed to put like the pigs in.
yeah, all responsibilities, including administrative obligations, shall be finished by October 30th of each year.
Is that the park management rules? I think you
Yes.
just put that in there so like they turn over all the data, they turn, everything's cleaned up, they,
Make sure their stuff is out.
Yeah.
So that they can't say no.
No, it's in the contract too.
I just think like anything, it's just something where they haven't been managed essentially for years and years.
Mhm.
So now it's just sort of working together, and I think this is the first year that, I feel okay about it. Compared to what I used to feel about it.
That's cool. That's progress. That's right.
I count it as a win today.
That's good.
So, you can do this one. Just realized that. Sorry. Did you come up with the date?
We did before you left the room. Oh, not for your walkthrough, I wasn't gonna
That's
pick a date for your,
Okay.
your
Well, I'm
thing.
gonna ask the one, I don't know when they're available.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanna make sure I
I'm not
missed
in
nothing.
that, that's you.
Wanted to make sure I did something.
You said Tuesdays, well, I'll figure it out.
Whatever, Tuesdays, Thursdays, I'm pretty open once soccer ends.
Right.
All right. I guess we're
I think
good.
our workshop is done.
Adjourn.
Yippee,
Love that.
yippee skippy before my bedtime.
Karen, I see you all out and about, this is sling on. Thank you for being here.
That started